In a repeat of the grand final, we have two sides in contrasting form. The champions Wigan have won only 3 of the last 9 in Super League, while in their last 7 Super League matches, it is just 1 defeat for the Warrington Wolves, a team who started the season with 6 consecutive reverses. Are the Wolves back on form? We'll find out. Wigan lie in wait. Well, a quick look at the Super League table. After a win for St Helens, a massive win over Hull FC, sees them close to within 2 points of their big rivals Wigan, team that they will meet next week in front of the Sky Sports cameras. Warrington, with a win, can jump into the top 8, a place that they will hope to make further progress from and ultimately end up in the top 4. Let's bring you both of the sides. It was Challenge Cup games for both teams last weekend. Wigan against Swinton in a 42 points to 12 win, and they have made 3 changes to that side. And the big news is in the halves, where young Josh Woods plays in the halves alongside the returning George Williams. Remembering last time out for Liam Marshall against Warrington, in just his 2nd game, he scored a magnificent 4 tries. Will we see a repeat performance from him? It would be asking a lot. He is an incredibly talented player. Let's look at the forwards, and there's one returning name for Wigan, and it's a big one. The captain, Sean O'Loughlin, comes back in the back row alongside Liam Farrell, more on him shortly, and Willie Isa. And on the bench, Joel Tompkins, who was forced to play in the halves for Swinton because of Wigan's injury problems, reverts to a place on the bench. He's alongside Jack Wells, also a starter against Swinton, Callum Field and Tailima Tai, one of a raft of Wigan players who signed a new deal during the week. 3 years for Tailima Tai. The Warrington Wolves, well, they overcame in the end the Widnes Vikings 34 points to 20. They make 3 changes. Jack Hughes has to continue in the centres alongside Ryan Atkins. Kevin Brown will be partnered in the halves alongside Kurt Gidley. Gidley played as hooker against Widnes. Well, the reason for Gidley's return to the halves is the comeback of Darrell Clark. What a player to get back into your side. Tony Smith will be hoping from plenty from this man. Darrell Clark hasn't yet delivered fully on his potential this season. Joe Westerman comes back into the side as well, alongside Ben Westwood and Benjamin Julian in the back row. And there's a new face in Brad Dwyer. Didn't play against Swinton. He comes in alongside George King, Dom Crosby and Joe Philbin. The coach, of course, Tony Smith. Yes, a repeat of the 2016 Grand Final, Phil Clark. A game many feel is more equal because of Wigan's injuries than it normally would be. Warrington can only play who's in front of them, but there's a huge injury problem at Wigan will play into the hands of the Warrington Wolves. Yeah, I think we all remember the fact that earlier this season, Wigan travelled to Warrington and destroyed them. Really, it was embarrassing at the end of the game. Wigan was such a one-sided event, and as a result, I think me and many other people think that Wigan will be too strong again for Warrington, even though you've made a very good point. They've been winning games even though they've not played particularly well. And when one tries to look at what's the difference between Warrington this season and last, I thought, well, the 3 main things in a game of rugby league are the breaks you make, the metres you gain, or the tackles that you miss. And when we look at that really and compare how Warrington are rating or ranking so far this season, we can see that they've missed less tackles than any other team in Super League. It's amazing. They've made ground. Chris Hill and co can get the team going forward, but they've struggled at scoring points, and they struggled to break their opponents down. Now, they did bring, this is where they rank out of the 12 teams so far this season, halfway through the competition. Their attacking thrust hasn't been there. They're bringing in Kevin Brown was one attempt to try and improve that, but it doesn't seem to have worked, does it now? It doesn't seem to have changed either the way that they attacked. No, it doesn't now, so that's not working. The only other biggest difference between this year and last year is the fact that they had Ben Curry playing out wide in devastating form for Warrington last season. He's sadly out and been out for a while with an injury, but he made such a difference, one seems, to the side that really now they've been brought back to the pack. Just when you think you've seen everything in rugby league, it delivers yet again. During the week, a almost surreal series of events saw Evander Holyfield, bear with me on this one, the 4-time heavyweight champion of the world, accidentally tweet the Wigan Warriors instead of the Golden State Warriors. Wigan found out about that, and they eventually got Evander Holyfield to announce their signings of new players. So Evander Holyfield announced the signing of Liam Farrell, Talima Taitai and Joel Tompkins. Farrell on a 5-year deal, Phil Clark, a player I know that you think you rate very highly.
Well, gaining ground is really important in rugby league, and I think Liam Farrell's been one of the best. In fact, if we take a look here at the average metres gained by all, there's been over 300 players in Super League so far this season. These are the top 5. Tom Davis plays on the wing. Okay, he's only played 7 games so far this season, but he's making over 160 metres. And Liam Farrell, who I think at this point in the season would be the man of steel if that award was given for the best individual rugby league player at this point in the year now. Over the course of the season so far, he has been devastating. And Warrington have a big job in stopping Wigan's go forward. You know, they get some speed. Tom Davis plays on the opposite wing to Liam Marshall, who scored 4 tries the last time they played against Wigan. He might not be scoring as many tries, but he's certainly been very impressive in gaining ground.
Tom Davis, one of those players that signed an extended deal. Liam Marshall and Tom Davis, 3-year deals. 3-year deal for Taitai, as I said, and Joel Tompkins till the end of 2019. You're absolutely right to point that out. Tom Davis and Liam Farrell are cornerstones for Sean Wayne's side. Phil, they don't seem to have as many questions asked about them, the Wigan Warriors, when they go through some rough patches. I mean, look at a period when they lost 3 consecutive matches after drawing as well. There was no wins in 4 weeks, but they bounced back with 3 wins. They have lost their last 2 in Super League. They are having terrible trouble with injuries. For the champions to get back further up the table, they've got to really register something here today, don't they? Points of something or a performance.
Well, I think the strength in depth and the quality of players makes many people think that Wigan can turn it on at the end of the season if they're in the top 4. But you're right, they do need to stay in touch with the top 4. I think this is a bigger test for Warrington here. They'll convince themselves, if Warrington win here this evening, they'll convince themselves that they're going to march back up the table and they're timing their charge as the year goes on.
Well, interesting. I mean, this is the closest we've had so far. When we asked on Twitter who they thought would win, would it be the champions, the Wigan Warriors? 56% went with the Wigan Warriors. And the Warrington Wolves, with just that 1 defeat in their last 7 Super League matches, the underdogs, as a result of our poll and our question to people, 44% saying them. Nobody really convinced the Warrington Wolves. Nobody really convinced that the Warrington Wolves have what it takes, that they've got the Jedi Force.
And yet it's amazing when you think of how close they got. It's almost to me as if they've got a form of rugby final concussion. They played in both of the finals at the end of last year. They got so close. And yet, as a result, they've forgotten how to attack and score the tries that they did last year when they were superb to watch on so many occasions. With a very similar squad, hearing a similar story from their coaching staff, they're not able to recreate the magic they had last year. Now, they did benefit a lot from quick play the balls, where players like Matthew Russell and co would play it quickly, Ratchford and Hill, and spring forward down the middle of the field.
It is certainly their attack. Speaking to Tony Smith, staying in our team hotel, he referenced that defeat to Salford again, where his team missed just 9 tackles and still lost the match because of the mistakes that they make in attack.
Yeah, maybe they haven't respected possession as much as they've needed to do. I know it's not all about completion rates and numbers like that, but
got the lucky underwear on. He'll be hoping that his Warrington Wolves get a result, get the 2 competition points and get their attack straightened out, Phil.
Well, this is the stage, isn't it? It's a perfect scenario here for them to turn everything around. All of the mistakes and the problems that they had can almost be washed away here with a massive game and a big win over the champions who beat them in last year's grand final. But they'll have to play very well because Wigan's record in these magic fixtures is phenomenal. They do know how to get up for a big game.
Well, fresh from the buffet here at St James's Park, we have a commentary team chomping at the bit. Barry McDermott, Terry O'Connor, they scarcely needed introduction. But first, the man himself to take us through the final game of day 1. Eddie Hemmings. Eddie, over to you.
Brian, thank you very much. Yes, day 1, game 3. And this is a meeting, as has been said all day, of 2016's top 2. It's a reprise of the grand final 7 months ago. And of course, let's not forget, a dress rehearsal for the Challenge Cup quarter-final between these 2 great sides next month. Now, no club has enjoyed greater success at the Magic Weekend than Wigan. 7 wins and a draw from the previous 10 events. And this after losing their first 2 Magic fixtures in Cardiff in 2007 and 2008 against St Helens. The Warrington Wolves, well, they're looking to join Huddersfield as winners at all 4 Magic venues. If they win, it'll be their first win at Newcastle here at the 3rd attempt. the most prolific try scorers at the Magic weekends, the Warrington Wolves, 70 tries in all. Of course, all the history, all the stats, all the facts, all the figures matter for little when these players take to the field. And out they come. Wigan, decimated by injury, many will say. 10 first-team regulars are out of the side for one reason or another. Listen to this list. Sam Tompkins, Don Manfredi, Anthony Gelling, Oliver Gildart, Thomas Luluai, Ben Flower, John Bateman, Tony Clubb, Sam Powell and Morgan Escaray. They are all out. But these Wigan youngsters, Terry O'Connor, who have come into this side, boosted by the likes of Liam Farrell, Joel Tompkins there and Sean O'Loughlin, they have done Wigan proud, despite the fact that at the moment they're going through a bit of a slump.
Well, Eddie, that's some list, that, isn't it? To be missing so many players, but what is good for Sean Wayne, he said that he wants to put out a side to go to a grand final that's come right the way through the system. Well, 14 players have come through the system that'll take part today in a Wigan shirt, up against a Warrington side that have been hit and miss in games. But they know that they have got the players to cause problems, and that man, Ben Thaler, will know that he's going to have two sides going at it. They've got speed, they've got forwards that like to play the aggressive style of play. When they like to open up the game, they'll open up the game and they'll score some fabulous tries. It's the headline game of the day. And
It absolutely is.
We're looking forward to seeing two sides giving it their all for the full 80 minutes.
Two so far, Barry, that have been one-horse races, really. Is this the moment when magic produces its magic?
I'm not buying into the fact that Warrington haven't played well. I'm not buying into the fact that the Wigan decimated side with those 14 players that have come through the system are under strength. I think there's a lot at stake here today. I think both sides are ready for this challenge, and it's a wide open pitch. Let's see who takes advantage.
Well, the youngster, one of the many youngsters in this Wigan side, Josh Woods, gets us underway. Kevin Brown picks up the ball from the kickoff, and the rumours are rife around Newcastle today. I have heard from several sources that Warrington Wolves have allegedly signed Ben Barber. Right at the moment, he is apparently inside the St Helens dressing room, talking to them. Well, it doesn't mean to say that he's signed for anybody. And the other big rumour, it maybe is. The other big rumour I've heard is that Stefan Ratchford, if he arrives at Warrington, will end up at St Helens. Who knows?
Well,
who knows?
Somebody's going to have the nose part of the joint, aren't they, with the likes of Ben Barber, and he comes over, whether it be Warrington or whether it be Saints.
Well, hasn't he got a 12-game ban to serve anyway if he signs for a side over here, so we won't see a lot of him this year.
So whoever he plays for or signs for, he might just make it to the grand final, perhaps, or certainly the Super 8s.
Well, here's a high kick, testing kick to the bottom right-hand corner. The young Tom Davis and Forsyth just getting that wrong. The knock-on from Kirk Gidley. He's looking to pat that ball back to Ryan Atkins or Tom Lynham. Unfortunately for him, it goes forward.
Barry, at many of the celebrity breakfasts that you attended today, have you picked up any rumours of your own?
He's bumped into loads of people today, hasn't he?
He's the friend of the staff. Right, it's head and feet at this scrum to the Wigan Warriors, fed by Josh Woods. 10 metres from their own try line, of course. That is Liam Forsyth, one of the youngsters who has featured in 9 of the last 11 for the Wigan Warriors. Warrington in their special Magic Weekend jerseys, as indeed are Warrington. All the clubs embracing this wonderful weekend. And it's a great place, Newcastle, the stadium right in the middle of town. And the supporters come in and out all day. They love every bit of it. The bars and the pubs and the clubs not too far away. That will please everybody on the Sky Sports crew come 9:30 tonight, but they'll all be back and alive and ready for day 2 tomorrow. Ratchford lets that ball run touch and go.
Just too long, that kick from Mickey McLaurin. They're looking all of a sudden, they're looking to kick the ball long, chase it really hard. They're playing flat off the play of the ball. They're looking at getting over the advantage line as soon as they can. Warrington's line speed in that last set of 6 was very good.
Cooper carrying that ball forward. Darrell Clark restored to the side today. Gets the ball away from dummy half. Wigan surrounding and harrying the ball carrier on every occasion. That was Westwood who went down in that. Here is the leader of the pack, Chris Hill. Warrington skipper goes down 9 metres inside Wigan territory.
Needs a big game. He always turns up. Chris Hill, and I don't think it's a coincidence that both games so far today have had a front rower earning man of the match. The middle channel is so important.
The ball finds its way out of the play on the far side. There was a hint maybe of a possible knock-on at the play the ball by Chris Hill. You might have seen that.
Yeah, well, that one comes off the hand of Jack Hughes. When Kevin Brown looks to shift the ball out, here you'll just see a little wobble as he's getting up to play the ball, and he's looking at the referee.
Keeps hold of that ball.
He's looking at the referee, trying to get the penalty, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he kept. I think his hand was always on the ball, so he never actually lost it. So that probably saved him.
George Williams hitting the scrum. And penalty here at the scrum to the Wigan Warriors. Warrington caught offside. And so Woods, not lacking in any confidence, the 19-year-old, Josh Woods, dumps the ball into touch on that far side. Wigan will come again then, started by Burgess. Here is Williams, Frank Paul Nuasala, 25th consecutive appearance today for Frank Paul, his first magic event. McAlorum goes down.
He preempted that play then, Ryan Sutton. That's why it was a poor pass. He's got to make sure that he's better. This is where Ryan Sutton's very good. Some players can pass at the line, he can play direct. On that occasion, Ryan Sutton put his teammate under pressure.
Ian Farrell, big new deal. Safely signed, sealed and delivered. McAlorum, 30 metres away from the Warrington line. And Paul Nuasala again takes them forward 10 further metres. That ball is lost.
Well, he's protesting to the referee that there's numbers around him, but
do you know,
he loses that
too
ball.
often to him, and the Wigan fans want to call him Frank Paul hang on to the ball, because at the moment there's been too many mistakes there. At times it could be the defender who puts his hands on it, but it's happening too often for him in his in the last few weeks at Wigan.
Well, he puts a dent in any line. When he runs the ball, he tucks it under his wing and he picks somebody out. He's hard to handle, but then the next part of the game is getting up and playing the ball, securing it. He's got to be better, like Phil says.
Nuasala has won 15 New Zealand Test caps, the last one coming though in 2013. Warrington have the ball in hand. What can they do with it here from the base of that scrum? Darrell Clark again gets it away. Russell is surrounded. Sutton and Nuasala dealing with his threat. This now is Clark, and Clark turns the ball into centre field. Here comes Chris Hill again. Gets the ball away, the tackle wasn't completed. This now Ryan Atkins for Warrington. Liam Farrell to him first, helped out by Williams. Atkins trying to keep the legs pumping like a pair of pistons. There is Ryan Atkins. Here now is Darrell Clark down that right-hand side again. Brown in at dummy half.
The change of speed from Darrell Clark, that's a big feature of his game.
Kurt Gidley drops the pass off. Fifth tackle has been reached, last one coming up here as Cooper plays the ball. This is Gidley, his kicking game will be important today, as it always is, and it's a great leap on that near side by Davis.
It was a good take. That's the second kick that he's had to deal with. Davis been challenged again by Kurt Gidley. You watch the Warrington forwards, every time they get the ball, the likes of Hill and Cooper, they've got good late footwork at the line, which tends to find them poking the nose through the defensive line, landing on the front and getting a quick play the ball.
6 wins for Warrington at the Magic Weekend. They'll join Wigan on 7 if they prevail here. Wigan the record Magic winners. That looked like it was maybe forward, but maybe it came off somebody, a ricochet that arrived in the arms of Liam Marshall.
It was a gamble, wasn't it? It was a good first offload by O'Loughlin. And that's a good line, running onto the ball, young Ryan Sutton.
McAlorum in quickly at dummy half, just inside Warrington territory. O'Loughlin gets the ball away to Farrell. That was touched by Kevin Brown. Back to 0, says referee Ben Thaler. This now Lewis Tierney. So 6 more from here for the Wigan champion side, and it is with Liam Farrell taking on Julian.
Setting up the field position here, Wigan.
Sutton takes it to within 6-7 metres of the line, maybe. McAlorum again. Nuasala in centre field, turns the ball to the left-hand side. Williams comes back where it all began, spins, 360, gives it then to the big Kiwi. And Frank Paul tries to get across that Warrington line, held up, though, by resolute defence from Ben Westwood. McAlorum to O'Loughlin, long ball out wide, touched in flight by Burgess. Bounces kindly, though, and brought back underneath the sticks He was tiptoeing down the line there, but the try is given. And it's Liam Marshall. Liam Marshall with the try. Young man who has signed his new deal to keep at Wigan till 2020. 4 tries in the 38-16 win at Warrington earlier this year. And Liam Marshall has got Wigan up and running with his 11th try of the Super League season.
Well, he's taken his opportunity. There's the play from Kevin Brown. Wigan get the ball back with 6 more players. And then from more or less centre field, Sean O'Loughlin spots a bit of space. He can see that Liam Marshall and Liam Forsyth are out there. They've got a 2-on-1 tight to the wing. So he throws that speculative pass, and all of a sudden Matty Russell just doesn't have the height. But what about that through composure? He knows that he wants to better the kicking angle for Wigan, and it's a great finish, isn't it?
Well, we saw that pass from Sean O'Loughlin while he was representing England against Samoa. Same side, same lofty, loopy pass. And Liam Marshall is good enough to regather the ball, score the try, and open the account for the Warriors.
And here is the young Josh Woods to try and add the extras. 2 goals in his Super League debut against Salford 2 weeks ago, and he kicks that with ease and aplomb. And Wigan are ahead by 6 points to 0.
Well, I think you're right. You trace it all the way back to that offload by Sean O'Loughlin in his own half, which got Wigan going forward. And then at the other end of the field, because of that, Liam Marshall just goes to show what a great finisher he is. Tom Davis is good at gaining ground and carries, but he's got a natural, just knows where and when to be, to find his way over the line. 6-0. Not a great start from Warrington. Go back to a pass that Kevin Brown made when they were attacking on the far side of the field, threw the ball into touch. Poor play from a team that hoped to be in the top 8.
I know there's the likes of Kalima Tautai and Frank Paul Nuwasala in the Wigan side, but haven't I read somewhere that Sean Wayne's ambition is to field a team of 17 Wigan players born and bred?
Yeah, that have come through the system, Eddie. Whether they're born and bred in Wigan or whether they've just come through under the guidance of the head of youth, Matt Peeber. Again, a strong caddy. Ryan Sutton's been good, hasn't he, in the opening 10 minutes? Come up with some strong carries, made 8 tackles. Wigan have only made 35. He's made 8 of them. He's a passionate man, Sean Wayne.
He is very passionate, Sean Wayne, a great prop forward of his own repute in his day, and I get the feeling that we might be having the 3rd consecutive prop forward named here today as man of the match. We shall see.
It's not a negative, Eddie.
Not at all. This isn't a negative either. And it's Liam Marshall again. And Russell had to be quick and had to scrag him to the floor, which he did. Joe Burgess is a dummy half. Wigan have made a great start. This is O'Loughlin, drops the ball off to Nuwasala again. He drives it forward.
Meters after contact, that's what Wigan are good at.
McIlaurin from the dummy half position, gets into a good position, gets the ball away. Is this a try for Sutton? No, he's just short.
It was a good, strong carry from Ryan Sutton, fed by that man, Mickey McLaurin.
McIlaurin again. Wide it comes to O'Loughlin. On the bounce and picked up at full pace by Burgess. Warrington's scrambling defence does the trick on this occasion. Liam Farrell is waiting. And Farrell, who played stand-off last week, gets the ball across the face of the posts, and too long. Just too long.
Poor kick from George Williams, wasn't it? He's missed the last 2 games. That's how close Ryan Sutton was. Look at the strength of him. But good defence from Julien. If he wasn't there, Ryan Sutton scores that try. So you've got to give a pat on the back to that young Frenchman, Benjamin Julien.
So Warrington will come from the 20-metre line with 7 tackles in the bank. There's the first one.
Move with me, please.
Darrell Clark.
Go.
Waiting behind at the play of the ball. Feeds Gidley, who in turn gives it to Julien, and there was a reception committee waiting for him. Isa and McIlaurin. Cooper to the 40-metre mark. Oh, and there's a problem there. Wigan player limping as Gidley tries to take advantage of that. A couple of missed tackles. Another missed tackle by Nuwasala. Still going, Gidley. Oh, great run from Kurt Gidley.
Fabulous run from Gidley, but it comes off the back of that quick play of the ball from Mike Cooper.
Into centre field they go, Warrington, with Kevin Brown. Just drops the pass off. Here is Ratchford. Another missed tackle by Wigan. Ratchford to Atkins.
4, move with
Clark again. The 12 metres away. Gidley. Good ball to Julien. Julien keeps it going. he finds Lynham, and Lynham almost got fingertips to it. It's a goal line dropout.
Well, we're having a look at what Warrington can do when they've got some field position and possession. Some good work off the ball. Plenty of enthusiasm from Tom Lynham as he kicks that ball through. He makes it too difficult for Lewis Turney, who simply has to bat the ball out of the back. And Warrington, with what coaches and players term as good ball opportunities now, will they get their first try of the game?
Lewis Turney to the rescue for Wigan, and it looks like Woods has got a problem. He was the man who limped away, I think, from that previous tackle, so that's a half-back gone. And their only goal kicker, of course, out there as well this evening.
Good return from Mike Cooper.
30 metres out, he stands and plays the ball to Darrell Clark. Looking for the runners, it's Gidley again, who caused all the mayhem originally. This is Ryan Atkins taking them on. Tierney standing his ground and bringing Atkins to the floor. And then there's a penalty conceded by Tom Davis.
He earned so many penalties, Ryan Atkins. Again, the effort, the urgency to get up and play that ball as quick as he can.
They're taking it quickly, obviously. This is Hill. They're turning the screw here on this Wigan defence. The captain underneath Joel Tompkins. This now, and that's not the best. That's not the best from Darrell Clark.
It's always
they've got a penalty
that,
here.
It seems strange. Can you explain? If the player's onside, leaning round, why do we penalise that?
Well, he's said that he's offside, so he's presumed that he's offside and gone round. But you know, he does look like he's in front, doesn't he?
Was it him or was it the defenders not on the line, Stuart?
Well, he's given the penalty on the line, so he's given it for the players offside on the goal line.
Brown then will give it to Ratchford. Clark in once again at dummy half. Hill will drive it forward from this distance. Chris Hill. We got a try in the cup win against Widnes, and they're over with Darrell Clark here, I think.
Eddie, Chris Hill was looking at the referee, saying that that ball was stripped.
I have a try.
Try on the field.
Just to make sure. No, let me do this. So the ball's gone backwards. Okay, if it's a steal or if it's a knock-on.
Right, so there's a couple of things, Stuart, that Ben Thaler wants Phil Bentham, tonight's video referee, to check on.
Yeah, well, the ball's come clear, so he wants to know whether there's a knock-on in there. Because if the ball's stolen, he's obviously looking to play an advantage, and it certainly looks like there's a lot of hands, Wigan hands in on the ball. So how does that ball come out? Is it pulled backwards? Well, yes. I don't think he's lost the ball, has he? He's had it taken off him, and it's gone backwards from Chris Hill. But the referee can play an advantage, or the video referee can play an advantage from this situation, because it would be a penalty. So if he picks it up cleanly and there's no other knock-on by Warrington,
this is a try.
Then we should get the try. We'll just see how it plays out. Picked up cleanly and the ball's grounded correctly, so that'll be fine. He's played the advantage and the try should be confirmed.
Darrell Clark has missed the last 4 matches. It looks like he has given Warrington the first try, and he has, of their magic weekend. Darrell Clark, third try in Super League. He's missed 5 of the last 6 as well. He was suspended against Wakefield in the home win. Man of the match in the win at Wigan in April of last year.
Well, during the last game, St Helens defeated Hull FC, all the big players stood up. They all had a 10 out of 10 performance. Chris Hill is doing what he does countless times during the match, and when this ball is on the floor, the opportunist Darrell Clark picks it up, makes no mistake. Even though it's only a metre and a half, he still has to pick it up, ground the ball, and he gets his side back in the game.
So Ratchford to level the scores with this conversion attempt, which he does. Wigan 6, Warrington 6.
Well, Warrington
now gone.
Warrington have got Tom Lynham to thank. Remember, we trace this back. Wigan were forced into a goal line dropout because of Lynham's invention. He kicked the ball through to the in-goal area. Darrell Clark now has benefited. It's a scrappy try, but it's given them 6 points. It's got them back level after a poor start.
Time on.
So it's Lewis Tierney who will restart with Josh Woods off the field. And Kevin Brown again is underneath the kickoff. Here comes Mike Cooper.
It's a solid challenge. Lewis Sala and Mike Cooper.
Hold, go.
Let's get down to Bill for news. I hope on Josh Woods, Bill.
Yeah, he just limped off a few moments ago, hobbled past me, straight down the tunnel in company of the Wigan medical team. He rolled his ankle just before that try, just there, as you can see, he put the brakes on, went over on his ankle. He thought he could carry on initially, but then a few seconds later was in even more trouble. He's off the field, in the dressing room. They're having a look at it, but they're hoping he's going to be able to come back on.
Ball played forward there is the view of Ben Thaler.
Yeah, play forward accidentally. If it was deliberate, it would be a penalty.
Wait there, George. George.
Say it often with decisions given like that to play the ball. At least he touched it with the foot.
Forward.
But went the wrong way. Should have let it go, shouldn't he? Should have let it roll underneath
Leave it alone.
his foot, like the rest of them do. Anyway, Wigan are in possession again, with Tierney this time at dummy half.
Good work from the Warrington forward, the tight three, getting up very quick, trying to dominate the early carries in this set.
Sutton gives it to the man on his left shoulder, that's Nuasala. McIlaurin again. O'Loughlin gets it away to Joel Tompkins. I think I had Liam Farrell playing standoff last week. It actually was that man, Joel Tompkins, in the cup tie. Williams, good on his feet. Spins, gets the ball away. Tierney.
Sean O'Loughlin, the number 13 for Wigan, he looks like he's taking more of a responsibility. He's passing the ball and marshalling everybody around. Very experienced player. He's disappointed there that the set ended up with Liam Farrell getting caught on the last tackle. Maybe he wanted his second row just to dab the ball behind the defensive line.
Well, the look on Liam Farrell's face indicates that they misread that or didn't get the call. Didn't hear the call.
Well, they missed the jump, but it's still not a bad place to turn the ball over, is it? Just 10 metres from the line. This is where they've got to be really good. The back three for Warrington in Lynham, Ratchford and Russell are so good bringing the ball forward. You control them first three plays, you win that set of 6 then.
Here's Gidley, gets the ball away. Julian has dropped the ball and Ratchford is offside.
Yeah, we're standing in front of that man who dropped the ball, Benjamin Julian. He looks to hit a tight line, Benjamin Julian. Off Gidley, who was under pressure from Joel Tompkins. Ratchford had just pushed up on the inside, stood in an offside position, which means they will get the penalty.
So Ratchford was offside. 100 career tries for Stefan Ratchford now after his try for England against Samoa, but he's yet to score for Warrington this year. Forsyth restarts then with a quick tap.
Oh, there's a drop ball there, straight from the tap. Is it Ryan Sutton?
It's Ryan Sutton, it is, and he puts his hand up.
Simple pass. Joel Tompkins, you're right, he did play in the halves last week. Joel Tompkins, he said it reminded him of his early days playing for Wigan St Pat's as a 13-year-old, so he's not unfamiliar to the role and responsibility, but it's a different thing. I would expect, or I would hope, George Williams played more of a role and made more decisions.
Last played in the standoff department in his under 14 days, you're right, Barry. But here comes Jack Hughes now for Warrington, operating in the centres today. Rhys Evans not in the side, as Lynham takes the ball forward.
Strong charge from Lynham. He's struck if when he gets the ball. There goes Chris Hill.
More destruction, that's Chris Hill.
Again, Eddie, it's the late footwork from Chris Hill. Quick play the ball, he leaves someone on the floor.
Brown had to stretch for that. Oh, Julian comes up with another mistake, and there's a double knock on.
I'm not worried about them going forward and the quick play of the ball. It's when they're moving the ball, when they're shifting the ball. Benjamin Julian, probably his second mistake in as many minutes.
Don't forget, this is only 7.
The ball, he should catch that ball. It's not that it's nowhere near him. He should catch it. Gooden's catch patterns, as they say. Disappointed with his 2 mistakes, the Frenchman, but it's not just enough to keep rolling forward, quick rucks, quick play the ball. It will get you points. Is it enough to beat Wigan in such a big game? I'm not so sure.
Benjamin Julian has been good since he's come into the side. This is his 7th consecutive appearance, but the last 5 minutes he will choose, I think, to forget in a hurry.
The experienced players make mistakes, and it's how you react to those mistakes. He can't dwell on it.
Tierney. hunted down by the Frenchman. McIlaurin, dummy half, quick play the ball then by Wigan. Here's Ryan Sutton again.
Move that on! Back here, Chris. Hold it.
McIlaurin waits. Wigan delighted that he is now back in the side after his dreadful year of last year. It's a ricochet off Williams' attempted kick forward. Was it a charge down? Well, the ball, I think, was taken out of the field of play by Kevin Brown.
He just steps out of the field of play. Look, the ricochet from Kevin Brown. He's first to react. He picks up that ball. He's under pressure from George Williams, but yeah, before he passes that ball, he touches the white line.
Fellas on that line, please. Here we are, guys.
Kevin Brown, 10th hat-trick of his career, George, and of all teams, he got it against Widnes in the Challenge Cup last week.
Okay, George, now stay on.
And that victory for them and Wigan's victory in the same round of the competition means that they will meet next month in the quarter-finals, as I say.
Here, please, Mike. Wait.
This repeat of the 2016 Grand Final and the meeting of the top two sides of 2016 is all square. As we have about 22 minutes on the clock, and McIlaurin is there for Wigan. Here now is Nuasala. He barges his way forward to the 10-metre line, gets to his feet quickly, plays the ball. Oh, and then Joel Tompkins puts the ball down. It's a knock-on-a-thon, to quote somebody from Australia, Mr. Sean McRae.
Well, it's just a simple error, isn't it? Look, the little inside ball, the drop-off from Ryan Sutton to his teammate, Joel Tompkins. One of the most experienced players within the side. You won't like to watch that again. When you look at Wigan, especially down this end of the field, they're running in twos, the forwards. They're looking at running, picking out lines, whether it be Mickey McLaurin at dummy half, who's just tipping the ball onto the forwards. They're running in numbers, which is holding the defensive line up.
So here come Warrington again from that scrum with Tom Lynan driving the ball forward and getting the penalty because there was a hand in.
Right there, please. No. Sure, you guys are back.
Well, there's a frustration trying to play the ball down. Look, you know that if you can't dominate the man who's playing the ball, you try to buy that extra second by holding onto the ball. But because of the ferocity of the carry, that's the reason why you try to gain that extra second.
So Julian will take it forward again for Warrington.
We're here. Go.
And here now is Gidley. Gidley gets it away to Brown. Brown looks for the runner. It's Ratchford. Ratchford then wide to Jack Hughes.
That's better.
Burgess is on his back.
Good tempo in the way that the ball was carried forward, the accurate passes.
Mike Cooper now for Warrington, getting them to within 12 metres of that Wigan line. And Darrell Clark wants a quicker play the ball. He goes to the right-hand side to Brown. Brown then off the chest. And here he goes again. There's young Liam Marshall. Atkins is quick. Atkins is quick, but Marshall is quicker. Marshall gets his second try of Magic 2017. And Liam Marshall against Warrington is exactly that. He is magic. 4 in the first meeting of the season against Warrington. 2 today. That's half a dozen tries he scored against Warrington this season already. And Liam Marshall, he restores the Wigan Warriors' advantage.
Well, he played in the last 12 games going into this. He's been an absolute standout performer, Liam Marshall. He's so good, got speed to burn. When he's in broken play, he can just go the length of the field. Look at this, Kevin Brown at the line, the ball comes off, it's ricocheted off Ben Westwood, and Liam Marshall just pins back his ears. He knows that he's under pressure there, he has a little glance and he sees Ryan Atkins out the corner of his eye, so it's just a little swerve, he steps left, pulls that and buys that extra bit of space. Look, he knows he's in the clear, then all of a sudden he's got good technique, checks over his right shoulder, spots him. It's just a little angle run that buys him that extra yard to get around Atkins and score his second try of the game.
It's a perfect example of an in and out. Martin Offiah, in my opinion, one of the best wingers to play the game, was a magician at it, and that was a good example of it as well from Liam Marshall.
He did enough to improve the angle, so it made the conversion for George Williams a much simpler task.
Well, it is phenomenal, Liam Marshall, his try-scoring record. He's averaging a try every 13 minutes against Warrington. A try a game's pretty good, but every 13 minutes? It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Well, no wonder they've signed into a long-term deal. He's at Wigan till 2020. Is Liam Marshall, along with the other youngster on the other flank, Tom Davis. They both signed on this week. And Lewis Teeney first to him to congratulate him on that run. Almost the length of the field. Wigan back in front, 12-6. Warrington kicking off with Ratchford deep to the left-hand side, very deep.
Good kick though, wasn't it? Excellent kick, just dropped before the dead ball line.
Wait here, Brad, please. Wait, Brad. No,
Sutton to his feet again, plays the ball to Tierney, and this now Liam Farrell.
Wait with me, Chris.
Because it would have landed in the field of play. It was a perfect restart from Ratchford. Tolima Tautai's on. Tolima Tautai with Frank Paul Nuwasala ever present in this Wigan side. O'Loughlin makes a break up the middle. He's got Tierney screaming for the ball on the left-hand side. He's come right. Oh, he gave the ball away to Joel Tompkins, who couldn't take the pass in. That is a four-pointer bomb.
Well, Wigan's most decorated player, Sean O'Loughlin, as soon as he breaks free here, look at him, he's looking round, he's left, he's right, he's left, he's right, he's waiting for someone to come up in support. He can hear Joel Tompkins' footsteps, but the offload's just too hard. He doesn't know whether he's short. It was like a blind offload. He's spun around by Lynham, and then he's looking, he can hear his teammate, but he doesn't know where he is, but he was so close to him. It was just the weight of that pass that got away from them.
He made the right decision, changed his mind, and because that offload was going at a ferocity and the Wigan supporting player couldn't regather it, there was a mistake made. It was a beautiful break by the captain though.
Yes, he's been very much involved, isn't he, in the opening stages of this match as Sean O'Loughlin. Brad Dwyer's on to add a little bit of zip maybe around the play the ball for Warrington. Westwood goes down, then Westwood. And that's a nice run from Mike Cooper.
Again, he showed up well, Mike Cooper. He had to use his footwork then because Mickey Mack was flying out the line to put one on him.
Hill. Farrell got to him, he offloaded though to Dwyer. Here now is Westerman. Joe Westerman away from Sutton, gets the ball away to Kevin Brown. Brown then releases the arms and finds Jack Hughes on that right-hand side. Back it comes again, here's Westwood. Denny Westwood goes down on tackle number 4, 22 metres away from the Wigan line. Dwyer is there, he finds Brown. Brown drops the pass off to Mike Cooper. Cooper is surrounded by Wigan jerseys. That's the last one for Warrington. Expect the kick here from Brown. There it is, up and over, palm back and out of the field of play. That will be the turnover.
It wasn't the best kick, was it, from Kevin Brown? Tried to get the ball to that man, Matty Russell. Liam Marshall knew exactly where he was. The ball was going out of the field of play.
Well, we said it's the repeat of the grand final last year, and it is, and at the moment it is exactly the same score that we ended up with at Old Trafford last October. And tomorrow we have another full day for you on Sky Sports Mix, first of all, from this Dasher Magic weekend. Catalan Dragons against Huddersfield, 12:30 midday, followed by Lee against Salford at 3, also on Sky Sports Mix. And then after that you have to channel hop to Sky Sports 2 for Castleford Tigers against the Leeds Rhinos. What a finish that should be.
Warrington here looking to pin the Wigan player Davis to the floor and just going back in for that second effort, gives that penalty away.
It's amazing, you know, when you look at the back line from Wigan. Lewis, Turney in and out of the side, and you can see with his squad number 21 not first choice, Davis, Burgess, who's a winger playing in the centre, Forsyth, Marshall, not first choice players, but doing the side proud and grabbing their opportunity.
And doing themselves proud as well. Liam Farrell now takes it forward. Julian and Westwood are there to bring him down, along with Brad Dwyer, who peels off and goes into the defensive line. This is Tautai. He finds George Williams. Williams is clattered by Cooper, gets the arms free though, gives it then to young Jack Wells, another of the teenage prodigies they have at the Wigan Warriors. That's McIllorum. This is O'Loughlin again, high and wide over the top. Oh! It's a hat-trick for Liam Marshall. He's going to have a look at this though. Going to check the grounding, check the touchline, no doubt. But they've got a try on the field. This could be try number 7 of 2017 for Liam Marshall against the Warrington Wolves. The Wolves will be sick of the sight of him.
Yeah, touch and grounding they're looking for. We know he takes off, I think, before the line, so he's in the air. Does his foot come down? Oh, his foot's touched. His foot's not in touch just before he gets the ball down. There it is, the orange boot. It's out of the field of play, and the ball's not down.
What a shame. What a shame from the winger.
He didn't look confident, though, when he got up, did he?
No.
Try scorers and natural try scorers know when they've got the ball down. And when he got up, he didn't look confident at all that he'd scored that try.
And when they are try scorers, the celebration gives it away because it's what they're paid to do.
No try. No
Such a
try.
shame.
The hat-trick hero is no more, but there's still plenty of time for him.
Well, Warrington have used up 2 lives here. They've had an opportunity where they survived when Joel Tompkins lost the ball with Sean O'Loughlin's pass that went too hard to him. They've missed another chance here, Wigan here now. And Warrington have had some luck, haven't they, with the pass there from O'Loughlin to Liam Marshall. But third time, I think Wigan will get over, and Warrington definitely need to find a way of improving here. For 30 minutes, they've looked like they're a second-class team against Wigan. They've made more offloads. Wigan are offloading at will in the tackle, aren't they?
What about the accuracy of that pass, though, from Sean O'Loughlin?
It was an accurate pass, but I would say that Sean Wayne during the week has identified that Warrington are very compressed. They leave a man on the outside, trying to shorten and leave spaces in between players nearer the middle of the pitch. Brad Dwyer earns his side a penalty. Sean Wayne has done a good job and give his side a good game plan for this vital game. Brad Dwyer, very short in stature, good agility.
And gets the penalty for the high shot. He restarts the match there with a tap from the penalty. This is Atkins who gets Warrington to halfway. Dwyer again at dummy half. Here is Chris Hill taking on Tautai, taking on McIlorum, taking on the skipper O'Loughlin, who really has been all over the field tonight already. Julien. Forsyth is there. Tautai round the ankles, brings him down, helped out by Tompkins. Dwyer waits once more. 10 metres in from touch, finds Gidley. Gidley then to Hill. Hill quickly hands the ball on to Westerman. Isa cuts him down immediately. Dwyer once more. They come back the left-hand side with Gidley. Good ball from him, finds Hill. And Hill, they know he likes to offload. He knows Warrington like to offload. They wrap him up. And it's Gidley again. Gidley went inside a couple of players then. I think Gidley's looking and appealing that maybe that was a shoulder charge that went in on him.
We're running the ball on the last play. Kirk Gidley pumps the ball, then all of a sudden he pulls it back in.
He was just concerned about the height of the challenge, maybe, but there is the hint. But the arm, does the arm come up, Stuart? Was that a shoulder charge?
Well, I think it's a shoulder charge. I think the sort of arms come up after contact. Probably should have been penalised, that.
But it isn't, and Wigan will bring the ball away, they hope, from their own 10-metre line. But Warrington have got other ideas in mind.
So this is where you've got to be clinical. When 2 good sides play against each other, you know that the line speed of the opposition is going to be very good. You've got to make sure that you're nice and disciplined. The likes of Lewis Tierney, looks like a nothing carry, but it does help you out. Followed by Willie Isa here, who tips the ball onto Talima Tautai. You've just got to work extra hard when you know when you carry the ball, you're going to get whacked.
McIlorum finds Farrell. Farrell will take it forward. Jack Hughes is there to meet him. Former Wigan man, of course. Grand final win in 2013 against the Warrington Wolves. Ratchford picks up the loose ball and gives it to Lynham, who will try and launch this attack down the middle.
Very simple stuff from Wigan while they were coming away. The guy with the ball dead, number 28 on his back for Wigan, making that tackle. I like him. He is what I would call a goer. He will get stuck in.
Penalty here.
He earns so many penalties, doesn't he, Ryan Atkins? The majority of times that he carries the ball hard, he finds his front, he tries to get up and play the ball as quick as he can. So impressive for this Warrington Wolves side, Ryan Atkins.
Well, here they come, Warrington, from 20 metres out. And that's the substitute, Don Crosby, another ex-Wiganer, on the field. Dwyer waits dummy half. Into centre field it goes to Kirk Gidley. Gidley then fires the pass to Brown. Brown gives it to Ratchford. He hangs on, gets it away to Jack Hughes. Hughes trying to keep the arms and the players at bay. 9 metres out on the far side. Plays the ball to Ratchford. There's Brown. Here is Westwood. Westwood is pulled to the floor by Liam Farrell. Look how close Warrington are, though, here with Brown. He gives the ball into centre field to George King, and George King is held up with the ball on his chest.
Oh, he was just trying to spin out of that, wasn't he? George King come up with a strong run. Gets carried over the line, but he just can't break free from the tackle.
On the 10.
King goes back to the 10-metre mark, and the tackle count will continue. With Dwyer then goes centre field to Cooper, who finds Brown. Brown loses the ball forward. Burgess picks it up for Wigan, and then will run laterally across and in front of his own posts before he runs into the considerable shape of Dom Crosby.
When Kevin Brown received that pass back from the little turn-up play, it wasn't the best pass, and then it changed his mind of what he was going to do once he had the ball. He couldn't get a free ball away, so he tucks the ball under his wing, and all of a sudden, look, he pulls it back then. Well, because he did that, he wasn't expecting to drop the ball with the effort on the tackle.
Before this game, Warrington sat 9th on the Super League table, and what we've seen from 35 minutes, they look like they shouldn't be in the top 8, do they? They're not a top 8 side with the performance so far. They could turn it around, but at the moment they're far from being competitive here, even though the score at 12-6 looks as though they are. They were close to get over the line, but they're not doing enough to get it down.
Tierney takes them over the halfway line as Wigan reach the 5th tackle, and Farrell drills the kick along the deck, and it bounces kindly for Stefan Ratchford, who booms the pass into centre field and finds Lynham. Well, Lynham is all on his own, really, and he knew that what was coming at him was a red and white wall of defenders. Here's Atkins again.
But what he does do well, Lynham, he gets back and gives support to his teammate, Stefan Ratchford, which allows him to play that ball.
Russell. Well, Talima Tautai couldn't touch him because he was offside. Russell gives the ball to Ratchford. Ratchford! Oh, he slips as the challenge came in. Wigan do enough. And then they concede the penalty. Tierney with the push. Might be 10 minutes in the bin here. Might be 10 minutes in the bin, and it is.
Well, what a break from Matty Russell. Say they play off quick rucks, and as Stefan Ratchford's trying to get up, you can see Tierney all over him. That's the reason why he's 10 minutes in the sin bin, but the break comes from the quick thinking of Matty Russell on the back of that quick play of the ball.
So down to 12 men, Wigan, and with their half-back, Josh Woods off with a turned ankle. And Warrington here will sense blood, and this now is Brown, and Brown fires the pass to Ratchford, and he puts it down. They are not firing in 2017, the 2016 league leaders.
He doesn't need to throw that pass, Kevin Brown. He thinks he's evaded George Williams. He thinks he can get the ball to his fullback. Here's Matty Russell. Talima Tautai was called offside. He couldn't make the tackle. Ratchford doing what he does best, supporting the ball carrier. And I think he makes the most of this penalty. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. Just nudges forward, forces the issue. Ben Thaler has no option but to send Lewis Tierney to the sin bin.
Yeah, Ratchford, clever, crafty.
What about the effort from Liam Farrell to get back as well? Stefan Ratchford changes direction, goes the other way because the pressure he was on. But they're just hesitating too much, Warrington, aren't they? It's just not clicking. The mistakes, when they're in good field position, just not good enough for them.
It's been the story of their year, hasn't it? You know, they have so much talent out there, and yet for some unknown reason, they're just not putting it together in 2017.
Eddie Bryan said it in the studio before, and even in games that they've won and come away with the 2 points, they've still not played well.
Joel Tompkins. Haven't seen anything of his brother Sam in 2017 as yet. Charged down by Julian. This could pop up nicely for him, and does. It was a kick on the 4th from Warrington. Julian has it. Warrington suddenly on the front foot here with Atkins. And now they're all offside, Wigan. So it's a penalty to Warrington underneath the Wigan sticks.
Michael McAloran wants to get his side away from the danger zone. He tries to put the kick in, but Benjamin Julian, as all Warrington players will do, tries to charge the ball down, gets possession for his side.
Yes, and it came up for him. This is Dom Crosby, 1.5 meters away from the line. Gidley couldn't hold on to that. Here is Julian, who charged the ball down, who started all this. Tackled by McAloran, finished off by Willie Isa. 9 meters away, he plays the ball to Brad Dwyer. Dwyer then finds Gidley. Good tackle low down by McAloran on Gidley. Chance here for George King again. He's held up. Take it back, I beg your pardon, it's Dom Crosby. Liam Tierney is in the sin bin. Lewis Tierney. So many Liams in this Wigan side.
And it was good defence, wasn't it, holding Dom Crosby up.
Brown to Ratchford, goes wide and through the fingers of Matty Russell.
So even when there's nobody in front of them, they can't take that pass. All the hard work was done. They'd fixed a couple of defenders. The ball from Kevin Brown to Steph Ratchford out the back. You've got Liam Marshall in no man's land. There's space there. All it's got to be is a better pass. They scored a try.
It's 2 or 3 inches, that's all it is. 2 or 3 inches.
Let's go, boys.
I think then Matty Russell can gather that ball. He's good enough to catch it in front of him. He's good enough to catch it over his head. But unfortunately for Warrington, no try. And they surrender possession.
I think Matty Russell was celebrating. I think he was celebrating the try that was on the way. We've got to half-time, and Wigan's 12 have held on to this advantage. Exactly the same scoreline as we had after 80 minutes at Old Trafford in the grand final. Kevin Brown, Matty Russell and the Warrington boys off to the dressing room to hear from Tony Smith, who must know they've had a lot of work to do in this second half. Wigan have bombed a couple of tries, but they lead by 2-1. Marshall with both of them, almost inevitably. One improved by Woods, one improved by Williams. Clark's try for Warrington got them level again at 6-all. Ratchford improved it, but it's 12-6 Wigan at the break.
Day 2 of the 2017 Dacia Magic Weekend starts at 12:30 p.m. on Sky Sports Mix. First up, we have you would say a top 8 4-pointer between the Catalan Dragons and Huddersfield Giants. Both of those will be desperate to secure Super League status. Next up is Lee's debut at the Magic Weekend. They're taking on third place Salford, 3 p.m. again on Sky Sports Mix. And then we jump onto Sky Sports 2 at 5:15 p.m. to watch the Castleford Tigers and Leeds Rhinos go head-to-head. The league leaders against the side they beat 66 points to 10 earlier in the year. Revenge is on the cards for the Leeds Rhinos. What a lineup we have tomorrow. Well, day 1 is coming to a close and we're halfway through the final game on what has been a very interesting opening day of the Magic Weekend with some sensational results. And now we have the Wigan Warriors in a repeat of last year's grand final, the champions leading 12 points to 6 against the Warrington Wolves. Well, Sean Wayne, a massive fan of the Magic Weekend, spoke passionately during the week about how much he loves the big event in the big stadium and bringing his side up here. And Sean, animated as ever at the halftime dressing rooms, getting the message through to his players about what exactly he wants them to do. Tony Smith and the Warrington Wolves, he has insisted consistently this year, saying that we are not far away as a side. A few wins and you will see them march further up the table. They seem to have put those 6 games and everything that brought with it in defeat at the start of the season, put it to bed. They are certainly a side, on paper at least, in form. But I would suggest to you, John Wells, as we review this first 40 minutes, it's a pair of teams that aren't exactly at their most fluid in that opening 40 minutes, evidenced by the opening 15 or so minutes when they both scored but both made plenty of mistakes.
Yeah, after which time all square traded tries. You're right, it wasn't fluent, scratchy at times. We'll take you through both of those tries then now. There's still plenty to look at, still plenty to show how small things it seems at the time. You think at this point George Williams is keeping the ball alive. It has a profound effect though, because as Frank Pornuisala gets to the line, your third defensive man in on that right edge, Kevin Brown, really commits to the tackle. I'm going to pause it one more time here to show you immediately. Look at this. All of a sudden these guys feel isolated.
Does he have business going in there, Kevin Brown?
Yes and no. Frank Paul's a big boy, so there's the one element that you're helping your teammates out and stopping an offload. I think you've got to react a little quicker than that, because there's an air of vulnerability now, an air that just that extra metre missing. Now they do get out, and Kevin Brown does at the play the ball. He's back, but not in time to change the mindset of the winger, whose first movement now, and this is completely understandable. I've been in that situation myself, you probably have, where you think, right, I'm vulnerable, I've got a problem here, I'm gonna have to get on the front foot and solve this problem. And that ultimately becomes his undoing, because he's half a yard to start with, too far in, and Marshall takes full advantage.
It would be Liam Marshall that scores for them, but Warrington got back, certainly not in spectacular fashion. This after the video referee has had a look at it.
Yeah, the question for the video referee here was the ball stripped? Was the ball, or was it a loose carry from Chris Hill? Went up as a try, not sufficient evidence. In fact, you probably the evidence there to look before Darrell Clark grounds the ball is that backs up what the original thoughts of the video of the on-field referee were.
Phil Clark said pre-game that he would be looking with attention on Warrington's attack and seeing if there's any sort of improvements on it. We're going to go to a point in the game where their attack was looking good, John, and they could indeed have gone 6 points ahead of the Wigan Warriors and very quickly found themselves 6 points behind. It might be the major moment in this match.
A 12-point swing in the blink of an eye. The moment of the first half. I'm not sure whether this got picked up in the actual game. So Kevin Brown has picked a pass here. Kevin Brown's the man with the ball in the hand. The man who he wants to hit is the man hitting a brilliant line here. And Westwood's line, in turn, has committed the Wigan defender. So you can see now, if I just clear these two lines, that's the intention of this play. Just keep your eye on Ben Westwood. He can't resist that hand, and that again, it's a perfectly natural, perfectly human response there. And all of a sudden the ball is out of the path of Jack Hughes, who, by the way, he's now turning around on the try line. That's a walking try for the Warrington Wolves. And Liam Marshall, well, you don't blame him, and he doesn't need asking twice. That was a brace inside 8 or 10 minutes. Like the way he changed to get round the fullbackers, or the covering tackle as well. A massive moment in this game.
6 tries against Warrington Wolves so far this season for Liam Marshall. What a season he is having, 12 in total. Ian Lenihan spoke during the week about the re-signings, the extensions that they've granted to some Wigan players. One of those, Liam Farrell, a 5-year deal. He said, we have an incredible athlete in Liam Farrell. Looks after himself off the field, delivers on the field. You've got a great example of that.
If the last clip showed you a little bit of good fortune that landed in Wigan's lap, then this is the hard work and grunt and determination and stubbornness that kept them ahead at half-time.
Now, Talima Tautai called out of the play by the referee. That's understandable. He has to back off.
Yeah, that's why this man, he steps out of the tackle. But the man who's just about to come into focus now is Liam Farrell. Gets his head down, covers fully 50 metres. And I think his presence on the outside here convinces the man with the ball, Steph Ratchford. It effectively cuts off all this area of the field here for him, and it actually guides him back here into this area of the field where Tom Davis and Lewis Tierney, albeit giving away 10 minutes and a sin bin and a play on the field in the process, but crucially for Wigan, keep them ahead at the half-time whistle. They will do without, or will have to do without, Lewis Tierney for the opening 7 minutes of the second half. You giving Warrington a chance of coming back into this game? Of course I will. One score missing. Wigan have got to get through the opening 6 to 8 minutes without Lewis Tierney. I would imagine the talk in the dressing room will be to Warrington Wolves. They've not played badly, but for an outreached hand, the tail of his half could be so much different. Finest of margins. Okay, we've got a little break coming up now. After that, we've got the second half of the final game of day 1 of the Dacia Magic Weekend. Repeat of the grand final sees the champions in front, 12 points to 6 at half-time. They have, though, got a man in the sin bin. Can the Warrington Wolves take advantage? Find out shortly. Recent results haven't been good for the Wigan Warriors. 2 consecutive Super League losses, but now they lead 12-6 at half-time against the Warrington Wolves. Marshall with a pair of tries, 4 against Warrington when they met earlier this year. Darrell Clark with the Warrington Wolves score. We got an intriguing second half in store for us. Your commentary team, Barry McDermott, Terry O'Connor and Phil Clark are standing by. But first, Eddie Hemmings, over to you, Eddie.
Thanks, Brian. Yes, Warrington having to come from behind, 3 wins in a row at Magic in Manchester, but here in the last 2 years they've fallen from grace, losing to St Helens in 2015 and Castleford Tigers last year. Can they get themselves back into this match early on? Remember, Wigan still down to 12 men with 1 in the sin bin. So a great chance for Warrington here at the start of this second half, which Stefan Ratchford gets us underway with a high-hanging kickoff, and Marshall is underneath it. Frank Paul Nuasala will take it forward. The chasers have arrived, led by George King and company. And there is Lewis Teeney warming up, ready for his reintroduction when his 10-minute sentence in the sin bin is over.
Well, the intensity is a different level in this game than the first two games.
Absolutely.
But we expected that, didn't we? And I think Warrington got to tidy up a few things. They've been clunky in attack, but if they can nail some of those passes, they'll trouble Wigan. But they've got to start getting those little players right.
Tautai hops his way almost with three around him initially to the 40-metre mark. McIlorum gives it to the skipper, O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin gets a great offload away to George Williams. Bit of space for Williams to try and exploit. And he gets an offload away to Joel Tompkins. Last tackle in this opening set of the second half coming up. So expect the kick here from Williams. A dab down the line looking for Burgess. Oh, the bounce was unkind for the Warrington defender, Matty Russell, and was even more unkind to Joe Burgess because he overran it. Half-time news, Bill.
Yeah, Wigan pretty satisfied with that first 40 minutes, although coach Sean Wade always looking for more from his side, and he's looking for a bit more smartness in the second half, and particularly when it comes to the offence. Defensively, they could be better as well, and that's always a desire for the Wigan side, to be the best defensively. Not doing too badly so far in this second half. Warrington Wolves aiming to improve their attack as well. They need to be more clinical when they get the opportunities. Very much in this game. And the news for the Wigan Warriors on the injury front, Josh Woods, devastated. He's not going to be coming back in the second half. Ankle problem.
Knock on.
Offside.
Offside. Jack Wells couldn't resist, obviously.
Well, he buys a bit of time, Liam Marshall, and he's under pressure from that man, Kurt Gidley. He knocks the ball forward. Jack Wells in offside position. Good field position here for Warrington.
It is, right at the start of the second half, which they've wanted, of course, and that's a drive-in by George King. Dwyer gets it away to Brown, and a miscommunication between Brown and I think it was Westwood, wasn't it, on his shoulder?
Well, he's looking straight at Ben Westwood.
Yes, it was. Ben Westwood just comes off the top of his shoulder.
It was a poor pass, but I think he's saying to Ben Westwood, you've got to expect that. He's going through as a lead runner. He's expecting the ball to go out the back. Kevin Brown, well, there's got to be better communication between Kevin Brown and Ben Westwood. That's the second occasion they've been in this position on the right edge, and they've come up with a mistake.
Wigan dropped out of the top four last weekend, having lost at home to Salford last time out. Only the second Salford win at Wigan since 1979, and with Wakefield's victory against Widnes in the first match of this Magic weekend, they came into this game actually sitting sixth in the table, which won't sit well with Sean Wayne, who wants them obviously in the top four come the end of the season. 2 Super League titles for Sean Wayne, 2 Challenge Cup wins and the World Club Challenge this year. Once more, McIlorum with a kick deep into Warrington territory, a great kick too.
It's a good read on the third play, isn't it? Straight into the corner, the defensive attitude that we've expected from Wigan over the years. And Willie Isa, well, he's all over Stefan Ratchford. Well, at first the referee was saying play on. That's the reason why Willie Isa was looking round at the ref.
I think it was communication. I think he was meaning just play the ball, but he said play on instead, which caused a little bit of confusion.
Dwyer plays it. Here they come again, Warrington, but this Wigan defence has been outstanding so far. Liam Farrell's laying all over the top of Matty Russell. Testing his patience. Brown with a kick. It was outside the 40. Doesn't matter anyway because it's straight into the arms of Liam Marshall, who is spun to the ground by Kevin Brown by his shirt tails.
Well, Liam Marshall, Len Davis, is that second effort?
Yeah. Westwood, and it is.
It's the second effort, isn't it, from Ben Westwood?
They're damaging themselves, aren't they? It's the second tackle in a row from Kevin Brown. He's lost that tackle because he's a low tackler. Then Ben Westwood can't resist going in, trying to flip the player at least on the floor, if not on his back. He's given away 30 metres.
So Williams will restart and gives the ball to Liam Farrell.
on, move, George! But here blows one.
Williams waits again. Tautai is the man to receive it first of all. Lateral run from him, then he dumps it into the arms of Isa. Warrington come forward in defence.
Me too. Wait here, please. George, go.
Michael Lauren gets it away to Joel Tompkins. Ben Julian on his back.
George Williams is the man. He's the danger, isn't he? They're going to try and get it to him. He is here now.
Slides into the challenge of Ben Westwood. He'll get to his feet and will play the ball on tackle number 4. Lachlan. Good tackle. Good tackle by Kevin Brown. That a little bit of a misunderstanding at the play of the ball. Marshall's come up with it. Marshall has come up with this. Is it the hat-trick in waiting? He dabbed the ball forward. It ricocheted off a Warrington leg. They have the try on the field, and this could be the hat-trick for Liam Marshall after all.
Well, he just has to check the grounding, so he must be fairly confident on this one, I would think. There's no problem with that. Ball's kicked through. We just need to see that he's picked the ball up and put it over the line correctly.
Through the legs of Westwood, wasn't it? And then picked up, and no problem with the grounding.
Yeah, it's on the line. That's fine. That's all it needs to be. Again, this try will be confirmed.
Well, Ben Westwood and Ratchford are looking round for where the ball's gone, aren't they? That man's a word of word. It is Liam Marshall. There's no doubt, Eddie, that's going to be his hat-trick try.
And the try is given. He has got 2 Wigan hat-tricks to his name, has young Liam Marshall, and both of them have come against the Warrington Wolves. He had one chalked off for a fraction of a second. His foot went into touch in the first half. Here it is.
Well, last year Sean Wayne started off the season with Don Manfredi and Josh Charnley, and all of a sudden he's unearthed a couple of gems in Liam Marshall and Tom Davis, who bided their time. They'd gone away, they played in the Championship, and they've turned up here on the big stage, and aren't they performing this season?
A well-earned drink for the hat-trick hero of the Magic. And here's George Williams to try and add the extras, which he does. It just scrapes inside the right-hand post. So 18 points to 6 Wigan, and this is the hat-trick.
Well, we said he just has the ability to be in the right place at the right time. That was the first one, the ball bounced for him, but he improved the goal. Then the interception one where he took it and outpaced Ryan Atkins, which he did incredibly well. And the third one, on the last play, he backed himself with confidence. He puts a short kick in, it bounces favourably for him, and he's the first to react. 3 tries in 46 minutes.
And they're back to a full complement of players, because Lewis Tierney is now back and out of the sin bin, and they've established a 12-point advantage as they welcome him back into the fray.
And we mustn't forget, when we talk about Liam Marshall, you mentioned him playing in the Championship, he played for Swinton, lost his way in the game a little bit, wasn't ready at 18-19 when he finished his academy, stayed patient, found his love back for the game, found his way back into Super League, and he's making a good fist of it at the minute.
Michael Lauren gets the ball away. This is Liam Forsyth. Davis, Forsyth and Marshall really have taken Super League by storm in 2017 during this Wigan injury crisis. Tautai takes it forward on tackle number 5. So the kick's coming here from Williams. It's going high, and he's looking for Joe Burgess down this left-hand side, who's cut in field, reaches and gets it, then releases the ball, still the 5th, and then in the end, it's a gift. It's a gift to Matty Russell.
Hands it straight to Matty Russell, but didn't they just strip that set of 6 down, Wigan? They ran hard onto the ball. Mickey McLaurin just bringing on the forwards, coming up tight, aggressive lines. He was just quite easy just to tip them balls on to them. And again, look at the aggressive line speed here from Wigan. They're ruthless when they defend this early in the field.
And Callum Field and Jack Wells, 2 19-year-olds involved in the first couple of tackles this set. Atkins takes it forward, straight at Forsyth. McIlaurin just gets hold of his collar and brings him to ground. Dwyer gets the kick away. Tierney picks it up safely. Chase arrives eventually, led by Kevin Brown. Good chase from him.
It was a good tackle as well, wasn't it, from Kevin Brown? Dominated Lewis Tierney, the man just out of the sin bin. George Williams now back. And again, intelligence from Wigan.
But Kevin Brown wasn't standing square. He couldn't touch him first up here, see, but he couldn't resist.
Well, he come up with a good shot on Lewis Tierney, and all of a sudden he just couldn't get set at marker. George Williams spots that, steps off his left foot, goes back into that man, gives the side a penalty.
Liam Farrell then for the Wigan Warriors, leading them by 18 points to 6. Warrington beat Wigan home and away last year in Super League, but lost at home to the Warriors in the Super 8s, and of course at Old Trafford, losing here at the Magic as Tautai takes the ball forward. There's young Wells, gets the ball away, and Forsyth gets Wigan to within 20 metres. Joel Tompkins, Williams gives it to Tierney, somewhat surprisingly for Tierney, I think. Brown with the tackle. Farrell, they come down the short side with Williams, down to the corner, just a little bit too long for Burgess.
He stabs that ball forward, doesn't he, George Williams? He thinks that he's got something and notice some space over here on the left. Kicks the ball forward for Liam Marshall, hoping that it could get a nice bounce and maybe get up for his 4th try.
By the way, Marshall, first hat-trick by a Wigan player at this Magic event.
Well, he's given them every opportunity to go on and win this, and Warrington will need to find something special. They brought Chris Hill back onto the field a couple of minutes ago. He's arguably one of their best players, one of the most important players, and I think not just his ability to carry the ball, but his presence on the field is something that might just lift Warrington. They're in desperate need of a boost here. Wigan have got a good control of the match. I know there's only a 12-point lead, but every other indicator seems as though Warrington are struggling to match Wigan, and they need something. Perhaps Chris Hill here now back on the field can help his team.
Atkins carries the battle into the chest of Willie Isa and Jack Wells. Darrell Clark is also back out there. There's Gidley. Gidley spreads it wide and finds Brown. Brown then finds Ratchford. Here comes Jack Hughes. Flicks it out to the back door and picks up Matty Russell, who is picked up by George Williams. Just inside Wigan territory. As Cooper takes it forward again for Warrington. Last time he was at the Magic was 7 years ago in the win against St Helens. Had a spell in the NRL, of course. Lovely chip over the top. This is Ratchford. Brushes away from Tierney. That's a great Warrington try. That's what they can do when everything clicks into place. A little bit of invention, a little bit of innovation, and Stephen Ratchford, first try of the year for the Warrington Wolves. His 100th career try coming in the international against Samoa in Australia, but a very important intervention in this Magic Weekend match here against Wigan from Stephen Ratchford, and it was a beautiful chip over, and it took some scoring.
Well, they're at that point in the game now where they can't do the conventional. They keep messing it up. Kevin Brown puts the ball probably 10 metres in front or over the defensive line of Wigan, and Stephen Ratchford is good enough to read that. He's good enough to back his teammate, picks it up, lovely handoff, lovely stuff.
That's the rugby IQ of Kevin Brown, isn't it? 30 those players in Wigan were expecting the ball to go long, maybe go to either Tom Davis or Liam Marshall into the corner, but Kevin Brown just slots over. Nice little delicate kick for that man to score the try.
Well, he must like the air in Newcastle, because he has scored at every one of the 3 Magic Weekends we've had here. This man, Stephen Ratchford, scored tries, that is. And here he is now to try and add the extra 2 to his latest 4-pointer. 18-10, this kick for 18-12, and the match is alive again.
You're right, they needed to try something a little different. Breaking through Wigan's defence wasn't easy, and now with that chip over, but the kicks ricocheted off the upright, and that's a tragedy for them.
That's incredible. Terry, you'd have put your mortgage on him to kick this.
Do you know what? And that just sums up the performance, doesn't it? They get back into the game here. A clever kick from Kevin Brown. Excellent way. And that man who made his debut back in 2007 against Gateshead. Wow.
Great try, but he missed the conversion, and the crowd here at the Magic Weekend tops 35,000 today. That's a tremendous effort, and more to come tomorrow on day number 2. It's It's deceptive, this place. It's a big stadium. Supporters are in and out throughout the course of the day, watching their own team, of course, then taking a breather, coming back then for the next, or even this, the final match of day one. With 35,000 here today. And I don't think they can beat Newcastle. I think it's a great place to come.
Yeah, it's absolutely fabulous, isn't it? And what about this for a set of 6? This is a tremendous set of 6 from Warrington.
Big tackle movement!
Gidley to his feet. Last tackle coming up here. Any more invention from Brown? Well, maybe a little bit. Bettini was up to the mark on that occasion. Brown following his own kick up with a little bit of help from Philbin. Bettini goes down 2 metres from his own line.
Well, that's what you want, kicking into the corner. Make sure that it's difficult for Tierney to catch the ball.
Tierney's positioning was great, though. He was expecting that kick. He dealt with it, and that's the reason his side are trying to gain some metres upfield now. And I agree with you. I like Newcastle. It lends itself really well to the rugby league folk, and I know that the contract and the decision where it's going to be based next hasn't been made, but I'd love to see it here again.
We'll see. Tends to go in 3 yearly cycles, but it gets my vote, I must say.
I wouldn't say no to a Liverpool adventure, and maybe taking it to Anfield. I think that again would be quite palatable for the rugby league fan.
Ready, boys.
So penalty there, as you saw, for Wigan. Here they come. Restarting. It was for a ball steal.
Well, although Warrington are 8 points behind, and obviously need to score points, it's defending as well that give them a chance to win this. We've got 25 minutes of the match left. They could easily get 2 tries. That's not a problem for them. But if Wigan score again, then the margin might just become too wide as Williams keeps it alive in the middle of the field. A lot of dangerous players keeping the ball free, keeping it alive and asking questions of Warrington's defence.
Isa plays the ball. It comes off the shoulder of Nuasala. I mean, there's been a lot to admire in this match from both sides. There's been an awful lot as well for the coaches to scratch their heads about.
Well, when they're making little easy errors like that, a straight one-up carry from the ruck, you wouldn't expect an international player under no real pressure, no one's in his eye line or getting off the line.
The fact that he was so far behind him makes me feel like it wasn't his ball, it was going behind him, much like the Ben Westwood grasp that John Wells pointed out at half-time.
One, move, Jack! Joe, wait here, please.
Lynham will get to his feet and play the ball here to Clark. Russell will take it on a few more metres.
Move, Willie! Wait here, Mike. Pardon?
And played the ball to Clark. Cooper. He's been dogged, hasn't he, today, Mike Cooper? Been solid, steady. Gidley. A match winner in Kurt Gidley for Warrington. Great offload again from Chris Hill to Darryl Clark. And Clark, he was thinking of the offload as well. Wigan managed to clamp the ball to his side. Gidley once again to the left-hand side to Ratchford. Further wide it goes to Lynham. Tom Lynham for the corner! Tom Lynham scores for Warrington. I think they've got a call from the far side, Stuart, to check a foot in touch, haven't they?
It is, and I think it's going to be try. I thought I heard no try. But it's similar to the one we saw before. Does his foot go into touch before he gets the ball down? We can see the corner flag's over. Does that indicate anything to us? So does he manage to stay inside the field of play? He's got to keep that leg in. It's looking good so far. There we are, that's it. He's managed to do it. Great position to be in. The try will be confirmed.
Well, he scored one in the corner similar to that just recently, didn't he, against Wakefield, I remember, at the Halliwell Jones to win the match. And this one puts them right back in it again, Warrington. Tom Lynham, 10 tries for the season now, including the one against the Brisbane Broncos in the World Club Series. He heads the Wolves try chart. And a try in the defeat to Wigan in March. I wonder whether this is a try and a win against Wigan in Newcastle. We'll see in the next 23 minutes.
Well, whenever you play against Warrington, you've got to make sure that you control the play of the ball and you control what they're doing. And how important is going to be this kick? But what about the previous kick when it hit the post? If you can knock this one over from the touchline, well, it's game on, isn't it?
Chris Hill was key to this try. Remember his offload? Darryl Clark, they made ground, scored shortly after it. Hill's the key here, perhaps, to Warrington getting back in, and perhaps even getting in front in this match.
Ratchford's kick. Well, that is a beauty. He missed the easier one when it came back off the post. He's put that to rights. Tremendous kick off the touchline from Stefan Ratchford.
Well, it's incredible, isn't it? Straight in front of the sticks, he misses it. Well, the ball, the offload from Chris Hill. When you play against Warrington, you can't switch off. The likes of Chris Hill will get those offloads and he'll really punish you. And what about that for the finish from Lynham?
Philbin takes it on again for Warrington. Directly from the kickoff, he gets back to midway inside his own half when he plays the ball to Darrell Clark. Here he is again, Chris Hill. And the Warrington fans start to find their voice here at St James Park in Newcastle. As Russell is brought to ground by Nuasala. Clark comes forward again from dummy half.
Dangerous sign that any time Darrell Clark gets out from dummy half. Again, someone else who's coming in now looking for that quick play of the ball, Ryan Atkins.
Plays the ball to Clark, does Atkins. Here is Brown, another dab to the air. Tierney did well. Tierney did well, he claimed that round his ears.
He had to do well, then he was under an awful lot of pressure. The first play of the ball, quick play of the ball from Darrell Clark, then Ryan Atkins, then Kevin Brown gets the kick where he wants it. If there's any time to up the ante in a game for Warrington, it's now.
And that's what they're doing. 6 wins from the last 7 for Warrington in the League and Cup. They'd love to make it 7 from 8 here. It would be a comeback victory for them, which they have been a little bit adept at in 2017. And McIlorum goes for a 40-20 attempt, but didn't quite get the angle right. Stefan Ratchford comes them off at the pass. Here they come again, Warrington.
Well, that's a reward for a good defensive set for the Wolves. They restricted the metres that Wigan could make coming away from their own line now. Just cross halfway. What have they got?
Lynham again, he's big, he's strong. He's brought to ground by McIlorum. Atkins gets the ball away to Julienne. Benjamin Julienne and a slip and a slide on the surface now that will be getting just a little bit damp as the evening approaches. Gidley to Westerman. Westerman escapes the net of O'Loughlin. And he goes down. Clark, Brown, Cooper to within a couple of metres of the line on tackle number 5. Repeat set or something better for Warrington. Brown smuggles the ball free. Wigan down to it first of all, but a knock on. Oh, and Gidley and McIlorum. There could be bother here from somebody. I'm sure I saw a head go in.
There was a clash as both players were going for the same ball. They both stood up, they met foreheads, and then teammates came rushing in. Passions are high at the minute.
This is now come alive. We've had 2 one-sided games before here. We've got a great game here now. Last 20. Some intense aggression, close scoreline. Warrington desperate to get the win.
It's crazy. Warrington have been nowhere near in this match, but are in severe danger of winning it. There's the clash. Michael McIlorum doesn't like it. The 2 players meet. I'm not sure it's a headbutt.
No.
It's not a headbutting contest. It's players refusing to back down more than anything.
They just come together. Mickey McIlorum, Kirk Gidley. Mickey McIlorum makes the mistake on the floor. Obviously, when they come together, there's nothing in that. You can see Joel Tompkins getting involved. Frank Paul Nuasala, he gets involved.
There's nothing in that. I wouldn't like you to come together with me with your head.
Okay, Chris, Sean.
I think he's going to have a word with both sides.
All right, Sean, come here, please.
Interesting to see what he does as a result of this. He wants the 2 skippers.
Now, I've got a knock-on blown against Michael McIlorum. I've got 2 guys then coming in. Now, we might have a little bit of wrestle. Listen, we've got no foul play. All right, no one said that. I'm going to scrum down. But listen to me. We're going to scrum down Warrington ball. You're game to your lads now. Tell them. All right?
Told you, Eddie.
There was
nothing in this.
You do well to listen to us more, Eddie.
Frank Paul Nuasala, he was getting involved in Joe Philbin at the back of it. And the touch was said, yeah, well, Frank Paul Nuasala, he was acting aggressively. I've never known him not act aggressively.
None of that running in.
Well, it'll be interesting who takes this up now, the first charge.
The scrum will be interesting.
Yes.
Well, it's not as bad because Warrington have got the ball. If Wigan had the ball, it would have been a dangerous carry.
Joe, get on the tape.
Gidley.
Hold it here, one. Go.
Now. Brown to Hill. Slips one net. Keeps going. Wells gets there to him. So too Ryan Sutton. Clark waits. Warrington trailing by 4. Looking for the try that will level things up here. With Gidley. Little drop on the shoulder. No, Lachlan would not be fooled.
Jack Wells and Chris Hill are still engaged in contact.
Oh, and it's a knock-on there by Lynham. Had he taken that ball in cleanly, who knows? There's something going on, as you say, on this near side now.
Well, Jack Wells and Chris Hill, they came together. Chris Hill avoided the tackle of Frank Paul Nuwasala. You are not going to intimidate that fella. He's too old, too long in the tooth, too experienced. But I talked about Jack Wells when he first come onto the pitch. He won't back down to anybody. And they met, they engaged, and neither one of them would step away.
Listen, let's go it down. What we're doing. That's what we're doing. Run down, Wigan ball back here.
But again, there's the coming together of a pair of heads, nose to nose.
Probably the more relevant thing, Gary, for Warrington was that they almost scored in the corner. They missed another chance, and time is ticking. Spending enough time at the end of the field where they want to be to score tries. And Tom Lynham, he doesn't want to be outdone by Liam Marshall. The Wigan winger's got a few points, and he wants some more too.
They've had 2 or 3 chances in this game, haven't they, Warrington, to score tries?
Wait there, right, Mike, step, head in. Mike, get head in, stay on side. Back on.
Warrington are hunting the mistake.
Go.
This is O'Loughlin. And just wondering how to word this, but you might have noticed as the conversion was being taken, there was an idiot in the crowd immediately behind the man who was taking the conversion attempt, and he did something a little silly, to say the least, and we don't want to encourage that sort of thing, and we want also to apologise to you if you were watching at home and you've got a little bit upset. That sort of thing is totally out of our control.
Big tackle. Move, Chris! Back with me, Joe, wait here.
McIlorum is the dummy half. This is the last tackle for Wigan, and Williams drills the ball almost to the Warrington goal line. Ratchford is collected by the Wigan defence.
Well, Warrington are well and truly back in this game now. It's what they do now over the next 10 minutes will determine whether they win the game. Joe Philbin, again, he's been impressive. Another player, another youngster this season, the way that he carries the ball and leads by example.
Russell will bring it forward. Well, he'll go laterally first, and then he'll give it to Julian. And Wigan were waiting in the shape of Liam Forsyth, but he's a difficult man to put down, the Frenchman.
Well, Matty Russell's known for his running game like this.
Great work by Forsyth at marker.
Well, you know that when he does go behind dummy half, he's going to run, so you can cut him down like that.
High kick here, high kick. It's spiralling everywhere and over end. Tierney deals with it very well. Julian, the first man. Gidley's all over the top of him. There's some intensity in this now, because in the next 16 minutes someone's going to go home triumphant, someone's going to go home defeated.
Well, that's it, Eddie. You can't hold back now. Just 16 minutes to go for the vital 2 points. If Warrington get the 2 points, it closes that gap on Wigan. If Wigan get the 2 points, it obviously takes them further away.
And depending on results tomorrow, Warrington could be absolutely stranded in the bottom 4. As it is.
Shut that down.
Oh, Isa trying to get the ball away, and Warrington swoop on it. That's a mistake. Is that the telling mistake? It was Gidley who was first to react. There's Clark. Here is Atkins now. And
it was Atkins who shut the player down, knew what he had to do. Come in, make that call. The ball goes on the floor and Warrington react quicker.
Darryl Clark. Some players are slipping and sliding all over this St James Park field at the moment. Gidley comes to the right-hand side. Brown.
It's a high tackle.
It was high.
Well, the running game of Kevin Brown, just asking questions, going back against the grain, runs straight into the high shot from Sean O'Loughlin. It's not a swinging arm, he just sticks it out. He knows that he's beaten.
Yeah, he's just grabbed him round the neck, hasn't he? Could be 10 minutes this, I think.
It's the footwork, it's the inside support runner that Kevin Brown has. and Sean O'Loughlin looks like he's rooted to the spot, lunges forward, and just clips Kevin Brown.
It'll be 2 points for Warrington, won't it?
Well, you'd think they'd take the shot at goal, wouldn't you?
Yes,
Mind you, if they've got a man in the sin bin, will they run it?
He's thinking about when controlling his tackles. It's a penalty.
I think I'd still go for
He's
two.
thinking about what we're doing, Sean.
Oh, he's escaped.
Very lucky there, Sean O'Loughlin.
He's escaped. They probably will go for 2 now.
Will he take his time with this one, Stefan Ratchford?
I think what saved him is it was just a reaction, and it wasn't a swinging arm, wasn't it?
That's what I said, Eddie. He didn't swing his arm, he put his arm out because he knew that Kevin Brown used his footwork. He beat him, so he just tried to make himself as big as he could be.
Well, he's kicked 2 out of 3. Here's a chance to get the scores level at 18 points apiece. He missed the conversion, of course. They came back off the post. Then he kicked a brilliant kick off the touchline, far side. This is just about bang in front. And it's 2 points to Warrington. The scores are level, 18 all. We have a quarter of an hour and less to go.
Look at that, straight through the sticks. That's it. It's all tied up. Look at this. This is from right in front of sticks. He misses. It comes off the post. Yet the next kick that he took after that one, he kicks it from the touchline.
Unbelievable. Right, 18 all to play for. Big 14 minutes coming up. Hill, another slip.
Tried to go wide, didn't they? They tried to change the point of attack. Instead of running up to Wigan's left edge defence, they switched it to the other side. I'm not sure they gained any advantage from that.
Russell.
Good carry. You'd be looking at a low-risk set here if you're a Warrington player.
Clark gets the ball away to Ratchford. Ratchford unloads and finds Brown. Oops, legs came up then. George Williams just about got away with it. Here's Westerman. Westerman 10 metres inside the Wigan half. Brown, it'll hoist this high, and that's exactly what he does. Tierney's after it. It's pushed back and straight into the arms of Tierney. Then what happened there? Tierney got it back. Referee wipes the tackle count down.
Well, Kurt Gidley's been everywhere. He's been chasing all these high kicks on the last play, hasn't he?
Is Michael McAlorum offside there,
About to query that.
Yeah, I think he was, I actually think Tierney knocked it on rather than him being offside.
Well,
so it should have been Warrington ball.
Wigan won't be arguing and complaining about that. Williams, Nuasala, straight up the middle, direct, all square. In the last match of the Magic, good hands from O'Loughlin. Out it goes to Forsyth, and almost Lynham picked their pockets again.
Yeah, it was excellent play though, wasn't it, from Wigan? I think it was Sean O'Loughlin who comes away with the decent pass, and then the hand there from Tom Lynham.
Good job he got to it, actually.
Yeah, he just couldn't resist, could he?
Is it me, or is the balance just tipping in favour of Warrington?
Both teams, guys, let's keep it
They're getting some nearly chances. They look like, for the first, I would say for the first 3 quarters of this game, all been about Wigan. They've had some periods where they were matching their opponents, but they look like they're capable of taking this game.
Well, we're almost in drop goal territory here. And drop goals for these two clubs this year. Wigan have had 1. Morgan Escaray has kicked it. Warrington have had 3. Declan Patton has kicked 3. Neither of those two players, of course, in action here today. This is Joel Tompkins now, and they're getting closer and closer to the Warrington posts. Will they be tempted? No. Williams stabbed it through. He was pulled back then by Jack Hughes. Penalty. Could be a 2-pointer, never mind a 1-pointer. They might take the kick at goal, but of course, Josh Woods off the field and won't be coming back injured.
Well, that's George Williams, isn't it, at his best? He goes at the line, he pulls up the defenders. Jack Hughes making a play. As he can just see, Joe Burgess was on his outside. He was going to go through. He was going to chase that kick.
No, you pulled it, mate.
And there's the kicking tee.
Yeah, it was sent on immediately by Sean Wayne. They're going for the 2 points.
Jack Hughes, speak to Jack.
Well, George Williams Delighted all at the club with a 4-year deal.
No, he's not. He kicked through, he's onside.
Just recently, and there it is. The message comes out. We're going to take the 2, or at least have a go at taking the 2.
I know we look at the kick and we credit the kicker, George Williams, but it was a good reaction from Joe Burgess. We've seen those 2 players combine on numerous occasions.
Stay behind, Buzz.
Now then, Williams. And he has kicked it. He goes in off the post. And Warrington, they hit the post and it bounced out. Wigan, 2 points to the good, 20 points to 18. Still not over, not by a long chalk.
Well, there's the kick. It hits the posts. In off, as they say. And the Wigan fans are delighted. Joe Burgess tries his best, and a former Wigan junior illegally holds a player back. There it is, in off. Former Wigan junior Jack Hughes just pulls his former teammate back.
Well, he is Warrington's most penalised player this year. Before today, they had the whistle against him 12 times in the season so far.
Hey, there's just under 10 minutes to go in this game, and the way that Warrington have played in this second half, you still fancy them to score some points, don't you?
It's a solid challenge from Julien. Here comes Farrell now for Wigan. Priceless meters being made forward by the Wigan Warriors. Burgess. And if Warrington can keep them to this side of the halfway line, when they get to tackle number 5, they'll be delighted. But they're spreading it here with O'Loughlin. Ooh, and he got the pass away forward. It was a risky play.
Well, sometimes you've just got to pull your arm back. Sean O'Loughlin rides a tackle, he gets through it.
That's great play. We want to see that type of magic. It comes off a Warrington player, actually. It should be Wigan's possession. That should be play on.
He hits himself with it, Phil, I think. He's a right-hand player. It hits his left side of his body.
I tell you what, though, Phil, I'd tell you to see Sean Wayne after the game and ask what the coach thinks of that. To offload the ball like that, it would have been a blind offload anyway. There was support there, but he doesn't get the play. If it comes off, it looks $1 million. But look, even Sean O'Loughlin knows that he's made a mistake.
And if Warrington score in the next set, look out.
Whoa, let's get bound properly, come on. Time's still off, let's get bound. Chris!
Referee unhappy with the way the scrum is formed. Now he's okay with it, and the ball comes out. And Warrington have the possession. Quickly down to Bill.
Big finish coming up to this game, and it's frustrating for Benny Westwood that he won't be able to play any further part of it. He's got a broken bone in his hand, it looks. He actually did it first tackle he made in the game and carried on playing, but he is out for the rest of this match and out for who knows when. He'll have a scan on Monday to see how bad the damage is.
Well, win, lose or draw, then it's a costly afternoon for Ben Westwood and Warrington. Clark gets the ball away. George King puts it down, but credit Willie Isa with the tackle. It was a ferocious challenge.
He's been good in defence, Willie Isa. He's made 40 tackles in this game. He's certainly stepped up. Wigan players firing out the line.
And I think Sean O'Loughlin, you just see him in the picture there. He's putting pressure on Kurt Gidley. The decision from Darrell Clark to give it to the front door runner, George King, I think comes about because defenders are in the line. Cherry and white shirts make it almost impossible.
Well, this has been a much better performance from Warrington at Magic this year than last year, when they were 14-0 up against Castleford and then lost by 34 points to 14 in the end. But they still, at the moment, don't seem to have the key to victory in the northeast, because this is the third Magic and they've lost on each occasion that they have played here at St James Park. Are they going to break the duck in the next 7.5 minutes?
Well, if they keep showing up and they keep playing for each other with the desire, the determination, as Wigan made the mistake now.
Ryan Sutton puts the ball down and on the plate for Julien. Now Wigan have to defend.
Well, both teams are just inviting the opposition into the game, aren't they? Just 2 points in front. Is that a sign of nerves?
They look tired. Both teams look tired, almost like heavyweight boxers who've punched themselves out.
Well, next week they've got 2 rounds to play. So they might be tired now. They'll be exhausted at the end of Bank Holiday Monday.
I have to get some advice off of Evander Holyfield.
Atkins flicks the pass out the back door and finds Julien. Oh, he's not tackled. He isn't tackled. He's getting closer and closer to that Wigan line. And they've got a ton of tackles left in the bank here, have the Warrington Wolves. Is this the turning point of the night for Warrington? It's with Gidley. Gidley then to Brown. Brown then gets the pass away to Ratchford. Ratchford finds Hughes. Hughes goes inside it and scores! Jack Hughes for Warrington. The mistake from Wigan on halfway, and Warrington make them pay. And how ironic that it is Jack Hughes. Formerly with Wigan, a grand final winner with Wigan, and here maybe a magic weekend winner with Warrington.
Well, a mistake from Ryan Sutton. He takes his eye off the ball, and the pressure from Julian and Philbin. They had good shape, set up Warrington. Some good deep long passes, then Kevin Brown goes at the line. Stephen Ratchford again, and good footwork from the former Wigan warrior Jack Hughes, who comes off his right foot. And you can just see the accuracy of some of these passes that they weren't showing in the first half. And credit Stephen Ratchford, when he goes at the line, all of a sudden you've got to contend with Jack Hughes and Stephen Ratchford, and that man scores the try.
And it's a well-executed shift, and the dummy runner holds the defenders up. You see George Williams, when the replay from the back of the sticks is shown again, George Williams just sits back on his heels, and that split second just buys enough time for Jack Hughes.
On his 33rd consecutive appearance, Jack Hughes has nudged Warrington ahead.
Complaint by Warrington that a Warrington player had his boot thrown into the crowd when it came off Benjamin Julian, so it's the reason why this kick's just been held up for a minute. Why Chris Hill approached the referee to sort of complain. I don't know whether I've seen that done before, but
I think it followed on from Jack Hughes, who put his arms on Ben Thaler, which is frowned upon nowadays, complaining that Julian's boot had been thrown into the crowd by a Wigan player. That's what all that was about.
What's the grade of that offence?
Throwing the boot.
Throwing your boot away.
I'll just have a look.
Well, Ratchford, this is an important kick, and he has kicked it. So the gap is 4, and we have 5 to go. Ben Westwood is out there again. Bill.
Yeah, you can't keep him out of the game, Ben Westwood. He didn't think he was going to be able to go back on, but Benjamin Julian has had to hobble off. He's got what looks like an ankle problem, being heavily iced at the moment, just a few yards away from me. So Ben Westwood had to go back out there, broken hand or not.
We need to be careful because it's dangerous. Hey, Sean, I am taking the mic. It's dangerous. Health and safety of the crowd. Think about what we're doing. Okay.
I think he just had a word about his boot being thrown into the crowd, and I mean the point of the matter is that it might actually have caused damage to somebody in the crowd, to be fair.
Well, Wigan go
that's out on the fall, I think.
Yeah, they go for the short kick-off. They know they're running out of time. It's under 5 minutes to go in this game. They don't get the ball back. They give a penalty away on halfway now. They need the ball back. And aren't they up against there? Determined Warrington side in this second half.
Yeah, they've been scratchy in the performance. Actually, both sides have been a little bit scratchy in the performance, but
What are we doing?
if you can win when you don't play so well, it's something that delights the coaches.
Back on.
They're not going for a possible 2 points from the penalty on the halfway line. They're going instead for territory, and they end up here 20 metres away from Wigan's line. They're looking to put this game to bed completely. As Clark restarts, here comes Philbin on the charge. He's held 15 metres away from the Wigan line. It's Clark again, Chris Hill. Chris Hill spinning and can't get the ball away this time. Gets the cramp. Referee will call time off. 4 minutes and counting, and 4 points the difference between these two teams. Warrington on course for revenge for the grand final. Last time they met at a neutral venue, of course. This is Cooper. Cooper gets Warrington right underneath those sticks.
He's worked hard, Cooper.
Clark. They get to him eventually, but Clark is trying to worm his way over the line. Brown is scheming at dummy half as Clark gets to his feet slowly. Gives it then to Gidley, does Brown. Here comes Mike Cooper again, taking it back where all the big traffic is. Last tackle coming up here then for Warrington. Brown dabs it to the in-goal area. Will it have the pace on it? Yes, it does. It goes dead in goal. Wigan want to get on with it quickly. Look at Tierney sprinting.
Didn't he have to be brave then, Lewis Tierney?
Well, here come Warrington now to try and get up the other end of the field and score what will be a telling try.
Well, even though they want to try and slow Wigan down, they won't want to give a penalty away. Gift Wigan some metres.
Nuasala to halfway. 2 tackles gone. Williams. Back it comes to O'Loughlin. Up and over the top. Risky business. He managed somehow to stay in the field of play. Marshall did well. Plays the ball to Burgess. Here's O'Loughlin again. Into centre field it goes to Williams. Long and wide. And the mistake. And Atkins has it back. And Warrington might be going home with the points here for the first time. Lynham with the kick ahead. It's a free play, remember. Lynham's after it. And Tierney just taps the ball there.
Well, the mistake from Forsyth just opened it up for Tom Lynham. They look to shift the ball to the other side. Forsyth loses the ball. It goes straight into the hands of Ryan Atkins, who offloads the ball to his wingman, Tom Lynham. He kicks the ball. He sees some space in front of him. And it's a foot race here. Unfortunately, doesn't get it.
It ends up in Ryan Atkins' hands because he puts himself where the action is.
Well, here we go. This is the incident that we've been referring to. The boot lost by Julian. Oh, knock on by Kevin Brown here from the goal line dropout. It's not over yet for Wigan.
Wow, just 2 minutes to go. They form the scrum quickly. The time's held up here. And you can see all the players now for Wigan getting back to the usual position. Stephen Ratchford goes up for the ball. It's not backwards. Kevin Brown, he knocks the ball on, says the referee, Ben Thaler.
Backwards, wasn't it?
Well, he looks puzzled, doesn't he, Kevin Brown?
The ball was going backwards.
Wait there, please.
O'Loughlin will feed the scrum. McIlorum gives it to Williams. Now is the hour for Wigan. Now is the hour for Warrington in defence. Tautai will take it forward. Warrington swarming round the ball carrier and all the runners. Quick play the ball though. McIlorum gets it away to Joel Tompkins. They get to halfway.
Well, it's all
quick play the ball. Tierney. Tierney slips under the challenge from Cooper. O'Loughlin. It's Muckle Metals now for Wigan. Williams. Scrapped to the ground by Jack Hughes. Last one coming up for Wigan. O'Loughlin pumps it high, looking for Burgess out wide. Yeah! Burgess! Oh! Burgess has scored! If he's onside, he has scored the try that will level matters up in the final minute and give us a dramatic kick to come from the touchline. Try on the field. The kick with O'Loughlin was towering, and Burgess, he's a big lad, he's 6'4" on his bare feet, and up he went into the air, and he's got this down if he's onside. Stuart.
Well, he wasn't called offside by any of the on-field officials, so I would imagine, you know, it's a practice move that they do quite a lot, so you'd have to think that it'd be onside from this. He's out of the picture there, but looks like he comes from behind. Will there be anything else that can show that where Joe Burgess is? Otherwise, just got to go with the on-field call that he's onside. There's another angle.
There's the kick, and there's no sign of Burgess yet.
That's a tremendous kick, that, isn't it, from Sean O'Loughlin?
It's not a bad claim either from Burgess. If here he is now. Look at this. He's almost all on his own. There's only Russell Nkui of him.
He knows this gets Wigan back into the game if he gets this.
It's a clean catch. Can he get it down? Okay.
Yes, he can.
Wow.
What a finish. What a finish.
What about the conversion?
Well, what a pressure kick coming here for George Williams. This is going to be given. The try is given. Burgess. Wow. What an end to this, the first day of the Magic Weekend. it's a draw at least. It might be a win for Wigan if Burgess has brought his kicking boots with him, and he's not been bad today.
Well, George Williams, the man who's about to make this kick here, he gets caught up in the play of the ball. So it goes to Sean O'Loughlin. I think he's been exceptional in this game. Look at that for a perfect kick to space into the corner, under pressure, and all of a sudden, Joe Burgess, look, he's not focusing on where Ratchford or Russell is. He's focusing on catching that ball.
Here's the kick, and he's missed it. It's going to be honours shared.
Well, here's a controversial incident. They gave Wigan possession. It goes backwards firstly. Now then, does Kevin Brown knock the ball on, or does that go backwards?
There's the full-time siren. It's all over, but look at that leap from Joe Burgess that has rescued a point for Wigan here. We've had drawn games at the Magic twice, Saints against Wigan, Cardiff 2011, Huddersfield and Catalan Dragons on this pitch last year, 22 all. Here we've got 24 all, and the coaches exchanging views on the sideline.
Well,
what a dramatic end.
Excellent game. Day one's finished now, and what a game to bring down the curtain. Two teams going at it. Wigan all the first half, then the second half. Warrington have come out really ripped into the Warriors, and then that final play, the final kick from Captain Courageous Sean O'Loughlin to space for Joe Burgess. Wow, and we've got it all to come again tomorrow.
Let's not forget, Wigan lost Josh Woods. They're only on one of their recognised halfbacks. It put a lot of pressure on George Williams, but correctly, Sean O'Loughlin, who's had a huge influence on this game, you mentioned his contributions. He put the kick in, he's done everything. He's propping down in the front row, he's feeding the scrum at 7, he's at the back at loose forward, and that kick was perfect to Budgie Burgess.
Yes, tremendous. As I say, a game not 5-star on quality, but on drama, you can get nothing better.
Effort, desire, commitment.
I think he will believe it's a point lost, Sean Wayne, because Wigan bossed it for much of the time. But you have to credit Warrington's courage. The way they came back, the way they fought the way back into the match, and the way they almost took it in the end. OK, who is the man of the match? It is Stefan Ratchford. That's Mark Pearson from the sponsors, and that's Bill from Sky Sports.
Yeah, Stefan's man of the match. Mark, do the honours, please, with this silverware. But bittersweet, that really, Steph.
Yeah, like I said, a bit bittersweet from. You know, it wasn't great for staff, and I thought Wigan were pretty good. But you know, to come back the way we did, you know, shows what we're trying to build here at the club. But you know, last play there, there's a couple of us saying behind the post, I could have done this and I could have done this. So obviously we're disappointed, but you know, we've got to, in a way, I suppose we've got to be happy with a point rather than a loss.
But given the state of the game at half-time, you were struggling to keep Wigan under control. So to be in that position was not a bad state of affairs.
Yeah, we've done it a few times this year. We've been pretty poor first half and give ourselves, you know, a lot to do. I think Hull FC was another one. I think it was 20 points to 4 down, and we come back and got a draw, and same again today. But like you say, when you know, Wigan first half, all credit to them. You know, defensively they was brilliant. They went a man down, and the scramble was outstanding. But like you say, I suppose in a way we've got to be happy with the point. But you know, we're, like I say, slightly disappointed as well.
I hate to say it, there was an upright as well that didn't help your cause.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to forget about that one. It's
sorry.
Yeah, it's obviously something we've got to work on. You know, Deck Patton's been kicking, Ivy Levette's been kicking, and obviously neither of them are out there tonight. So, you know, it's something I do enjoy doing. Just obviously got to practice that bit more and knock them ones over.
Well said, well played. Are you going to check for a charity of your choice as well?
Can I split it again, please? Johnny and Jack and Alder Hay, please.
Well done, Stefan. Sean Wayne is the Wigan Warriors coach, and what do you make of that? I mean, it rescued a point, but it should have been more.
Yeah, we didn't rescue it. We threw it away. I thought we bombed a few tries. I thought we was unlucky. Our effort was there, but some too many errors, unforced errors, at really important times.